right, everyone. What's up? It's your boy 313 J-Mo, and it's the bye week. Everyone knows how much it was needed. It was needed for a lot of reasons, but besides the injury perspective, I like it to retool because, in the words of some basketball teams, we're a young team, and when I say that, they say when you're a young team, you got to take your lumps. I feel like we took in our lumps, but we're a young team, not in age, but in like winning and with Patricia and the atmosphere. So we got to get used to this, and this is a perfect time to retool because we had two games, Kansas City and Arizona, where we had the lead at the end of the game and we let it get away from us, and it's a good thing to retool. Mainly the offense. The offenses look really good, and all the stats and numbers back it up. But like for example, the Lions are 5th in the NFL, and I think 20% of no 3 and out. So the Chiefs are like number 2, the Saints are number 3, the Patriots are up there, but the Lions don't have 3 and outs no more. That's dead. Like, we're 5th least amount of 3 and outs in the NFL through the first 4 games, so that's dead. Matthew Stafford, number 1 in the NFL in passes over 20 yards, 20%. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is ahead of him by 1 pass. He has 13. Stafford has 12, but the percentage of deep passes, Stafford leads the NFL. Stafford has made the toughest throw of the NFL season. You know how they do these next gen stats and stuff. That throw he made to Marvin Hole was the toughest throw of Sunday and probably the entire season, and he made the throw of the year in the same game through 4 defenders. So he's been balling. But it's still some kinks. Carry-on's run blocking. I'm sick of it because Carry-on should have had 200 yards in that game, but our offensive line run blocking, they need to get that continuity because it is some new guys on there. Joe Dahl, Ragnow, Glasgow is back at right guard. So, we have to find some ways to get that good, but we can retool the whole team now. Like, health is one thing. It's good because Stafford being hurt, oh my goodness. That's the end of us, bro. That's the end of the season. So, Slay will be fine. It's a hamstring. I'm not really concerned. I wanted him to play in that last game, but when Slay has a hamstring injury, it only gets worse. 3 weeks for him should be good. Quandre Diggs, I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me. I'm not really that concerned if he comes back or not. Not saying I don't want Quandre to come back. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Will Harris has looked that good. Of course, when Quandre ain't there and you just slide in there, you can look good. But when it's on you to be the guy to not get cooked, he can get cooked. But Will Harris has looked good, not just the last game. He's looked good all year. I said we was going to use him like Tracy Walker, and we have, and he's been looking solid. Of course, he's a rookie, man. He ain't better than Quandre Diggs. Like, come on, we know this. Diggs is much better, but I'm not as concerned because I feel like we have an adequate replacement. You can't replace a Slay. You can't replace a Malcolm Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? You can't replace a prime Ed Reed. Like, you just can't replace elite defensive backs. But you can fill them in with a system and have guys that can produce. And we never know. Will Harris can break out just like Tracy Walker did. Let's review the season. Review my standouts. My people on the uptake and my people on the downtake. First of all, uptake. Of course, I'm gonna just get the simple guys out the way. Stafford, Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, Danny Amendola when he was out there, T.J. Hawkinson, Frank Ragnow, Joe Dahl has been great, and Taylor Decker has been better since that first game. Those are the standouts. And Darrell Bevell, I think I remember I told you Ragnow becoming center was the key to this season, and he's been really good at center. Sometimes some guys might push him out the way, but I just think he'll get it because y'all saw what he did to Fletcher Cox. Like, he'll get it. And he'll get better as the season goes on. But T.J. Hawkinson has been great. And I'm not talking about receiving. You know how many blocks I've seen T.J. Hawkinson make? Kerryon Johnson, when it comes to blocking, has been great. He saved Stafford life on at least 10 different occasions. I still remember, he did it last week, but I remember that play where he threw a touchdown to Danny Amendola, and Kerryon Johnson had to block Terrell Suggs. Suggs was coming to murder Stafford. Kerryon stood up here like, I don't care, you're a Hall of Famer, and yeah, you 36, but I'm Kerryon Johnson blocking Terrell T. Sizzle. Shout out to T. Sizzle, man. But, so we have a lot of things to work on. Our coach he's been good. I won't say he's been bad or he's been average. He's been good. First game, Second game, he had some mistakes but developed a game plan. Third game, he developed a game plan. To me, I always say this, and of course you can judge a coach however you want, but to me, what is your calling card? Your calling card is offense. I need the offense to be looking good. Your calling card is defense. I need the defense to be looking good. Defense has been looking good even when they blew the lead to Arizona. Agnew was out there. He ain't out there no more. Now it's Mike Ford. We know how good Mike Ford is. So, and then it's like, how do you adjust to mistakes? The first 2 weeks, the special teams were so bad that I was expecting people to get fired. Well, Agnew, go back in there. And not just Agnew, everybody else been showing up on the special teams, playing well and doing great and not letting up big plays. So the whole unit stepped up, and to me, that's coaching. Paul Pasqualoni, I'm gonna give you some credit because you got to be doing something on defense. I don't know what he's doing on defense, and I don't think he's just a figurehead. I think it's like an assistant coach with basketball. So basically, don't nobody know who Steve Kerr assistant coach is. Don't nobody know who Phil Jackson assistant coach or Larry Brown assistant coach was. But I'm sure my basketball heads can tell me, of course. But though it don't like those guys are bad coaches, because there's been some assistant coaches of the Steve Kerrs who go out and get a head coaching job and you be a great coach because they were a great coach in that organization, but they're assistants. So Paul Pasqualoni is the assistant defensive coordinator. As I call, or Matt Pasqualoni as I call him. He's been doing solid. Let's talk about some negatives. This run blocking is pissing me off. Also, we got the pass rush. It's been getting better week to week, but the rush defense, the run blocking, and the pass rush from the defensive linemen. I know we've had some injuries. Deshaun Hand not being here is a big deal. I think people underestimated how big a deal that was, and I always said it was a big deal because you don't just be the #1 rated rookie defensive lineman and have a higher grade than Aaron Donald. I'm not saying he'll ever be Aaron Donald. I will never say those words, but you don't just have that and just not be very freaking good. The dude is a very good player, and not having him has hurt us. Not having Jared Davis on has hurt us. But those it's not that many. It's not too many negatives with this team because we're a complete football team, complete on a good offense that can be great at times, and I think it will be great going later on in the year. A great defense, an elite secondary, a very, very good linebacking core, a solid D-line that's only improving with health and continuity. A'Shawn Robinson has been amazing, best player on that D-line. Kennard's still doing this thing, and then you have the special teams and the coaching they've gotten out of our way a bit. Matt Patricia still has some things he needs to work on with that, but we've looked good. And a lot like I said in my last video, I'm not into moral victories and getting happy about getting recognition and news respect, but you can't act like you don't like to be noticed. Everyone does, and the media. We played the Chiefs so good in a loss. The media's been giving us credit. Kurt Warner said, Stafford was, he has this little top 5 QB list. He has Stafford at number 2, even though he didn't win. So you're starting to see a lot of that. Of course, I expect Dan Orlovsky to ride with the team, but he wasn't riding with the team earlier in the season. I snapped on him about Arizona and Kyler Murray. Max Kellerman picking us to win the division, and you just got a lot of media out. Look, this how you know that the Lions barely beating it, losing that game. It was something big, and it's not something that's SOL or you should overlook. They talked about the Lions back to back. When do they talk about the Lions 2 days? If they give us a little bit credit, they'll talk about like we get a big win, like we beat Philly. It was more about Philly, but if we were going to get any credit for that Philly game, it would have been for one day. The next day, the Lions don't exist. They talked about us the next day. And I'm laughing because I know they never do this. And it's just about when you're a football mind, no matter what's been the history of a team or, their history, you just got to look at what they are now. Take it at face value. What do the Lions look like right now? They look like a good football team. They look like a complete football team. They look like a team that lost to the second best team in the NFL by 4 points off of some questionable calls. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at a team that beat the Chargers. They're looking at a team that beat the Eagles. That's what they're looking at. So a team with only one loss and the schedule getting easier, and a team that you can tell getting better every week. Football, you can tell the team is improving every week. And it's just simple. If you know football, the Lions are a good team right now. Stafford knows it, said it in his interview, and it's just as simple as that. Most of these football minds, whether they hate or love the Lions, they know they're a good team right now. Of course, Stephen A. don't care if we're a good team. He just thinks Aaron Rodgers is gonna pull a miracle out of his what and do something. No, they not. I can't wait for Monday night because Oh man, I can't wait, y'all. We gonna beat this. We gonna beat the crap off the Packers, man, in front of everyone, and then put some respect on our name. As long as we healthy, that's a guaranteed win. I'm sorry, you give Matt Patricia 2 weeks to prepare, and I'm supposed to be in fear. 2 weeks to prepare for the Dolphins, mollywop them, and that's when the Dolphins were 4-1. So I don't want to hear none of that. They were 4-1. They were a good team at that point in time until they got smacked by us. Just like Carolina, you know, there was a good team, got smacked by the Lions, all of a sudden fell off a cliff, just like the Rams. But anyway, if you're just watching and you're just paying attention, you can see all of these things, and you can see the team is getting better every week, and we're not at our peak. And you know, but all in all, the bye week, hoping and praying for help for everybody, hoping for a retool. Like I said, giving Matt Patricia 2 weeks for the Packers offense after what he did with 1 week against the Chiefs without Slay. Oh my god, come on. I think we're going to continue to get better every week, and if we actually doing that, we can keep winning games. Look, I don't know when we're going to lose a game, but we'll probably drop a game. But I'm going to tell y'all this. We're not going to lose to none of these weak teams. Like, I think we're going to go 4-0 in the next quarter, and it's those Chicago and Dallas games that might give us an L. But we're not losing to weak teams. That's dead. And I trust Matt Patricia and his scheme. He's shown time and time again, to the point Bill Belichick is using his defensive game plans to win Super Bowls. He is an amazing defensive mind. He's a defensive genius. We got to start to open our eyes and realize Patricia has a lot of flaws because he's a young coach. But when it comes to scheming up game plans to stop opposing offenses, oh, he's the top tier at this jump, bro. Right now, in the NFL right now, it's only a few other guys that's top tier like him. So, you know, just like I'll give Sean McDermott some credit. I think he's a defensive coordinator. I'm talking about the guy for the Bills. But it's not that many. And, you know, that's why I have a lot of confidence going into these games, going into this next quarter. I'm just praying for health, and I'm praying that we get better every week and continue to shut up the doubters. Even Carlos Manure, he put out a new schedule for the Lions because he like, oh, the Lions are good, so how good are they going to be? And Carlos Manure straight up said we going 11-4 with losses to the Bears and the Cowboys, and I think one to the Vikings. Oh, now you switching up? Keep that same energy, Carlos Manure. Keep that same energy. But look, I've been going on for a while. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the bye week. I got more videos coming for y'all. It's your boy 313 J Mo.